Please announce yourself.
Pat Helmers.
Nancy Gaston.
Hey, Nancy.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm pretty good.
Good. How many people you got on this?
I don't know. Right now, I just logged in, so you're the first. I don't know if anybody else is on.
Oh, okay.
I'm here as well, Patrick.
Oh, hey, how you doing? It sounds like Mike Slowick, right?
You are correct, man. You're getting smarter by the day, sir. I had shared some of your intelligence.
Intelligence, yeah. Yeah.
You guys are so modest.
I'm pulling up my questions for today.
Yeah, they're great questions. Especially question number 2 is of interest to you truly, sir.
Yeah. Where is it at? Reminder starts. Here it is. Here, I got it right here. No, that's not it. Sorry, this is taking so long.
All right. Not much to be rushed for these days.
No, I've been pretty busy today, though.
Yeah, that's true.
I did a lot of prospecting today. I posted a video of a webinar that I did yesterday. Yeah, it's been pretty. It's been a pretty good day.
Good.
Well, I know your first question, Ted, had to do with how do you track your sales metrics, I think daily, weekly. And the second one had to do with looking for a job.
Oh, there it is.
Job in this environment.
I got it. Got a lot going on. I don't know about you, Michael.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Just launched my first podcast app of my new revised season. Episode.
So how about that Zencaster?
That is amazing. I actually was using it even for when I was like, it records better to Zencaster than to Audacity directly.
Yeah.
So for the intro, I recorded Zencaster, then downloaded it and put it to Audacity.
That's how I do it. Yeah, that's exactly how I do it.
Even like not just the interview, but the part where it's just me.
Yeah. Oh,
That was amazing.
Well, I don't think it's better than me directly recording to Audacity, Michael. I do believe that's a higher quality.
Like static in the background with Audacity.
Oh, do you?
Hey, everyone. Chris is here. Afternoon.
Hey, Chris.
Hello.
Yeah,
When I go straight to Audacity, it's staticky and has some noise, whereas Zencaster is like crystal clear. So I think they must have some noise cancellation or something. Now, of course, you have a better microphone than I do. I have a $5 headset from Five Below.
Well, there you go. If you're gonna podcast, you can do. Okay, now you may laugh, but actually, although I use these ATR 2100s that I recommend a lot for traveling, on my Behringer mixer, I have an old PV microphone. It's with an XLR. I don't think I paid I don't even know what I paid for it. I bought it maybe 10 years ago, and it's the one that I've been using for Salesbabble for years, and it does sound. I think it sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
there's a bassiness to it I really like.
It could also be a software issue in my computer because this computer needs replacement. So, given that the same microphone sounds good in Zencaster and bad on Audacity, I'm thinking it's not necessarily a hardware problem. Or Zencaster is so good it can compensate for bad microphone.
I was just talking to somebody who wanted to start a podcast last week, and they were saying how they didn't have enough capacity on their computer. It doesn't really take much to store these files in Audacity. It's not a space. Podcasting isn't like editing video. Like today I was editing video. I edited the webinar that I did yesterday in Camtasia. That's a big ass file. That takes some space up. But podcasts are usually aren't very big. So,
It's true. It's not too intensive to do that kind of stuff.
okay, so why don't we get started with my first question, which is my last question, to get people warmed up, is like, I would like a list of your favorite. Could each of you go through and say, what is your favorite pandemic movie?
Oh, that's too easy.
Is it?
Yeah. Contagion, of course.
Contagion?
I just rewatched that the other day.
I think Contagion is the best one out there. I don't know about favorite. That movie makes me want to just go into bed and cry afterwards. It's so heavy, but so good. They really nailed it right on the head.
I actually found it kind of inspiring because in the movie, you know, everything falls apart. The nurses go on strike because they don't have proper protocols, and people stop picking up the trash. And in reality, nurses on the front lines who didn't have proper PPE were like, well, guess we're going to get sick. We'll do what we can until we do. And so you think about like that the real life was so much more inspiring than the Hollywood version. I was kind of inspired that like, yeah, you really get a sense of Americans will stay on the line until they fall down, even if they don't have what they should have to get through it. Of course, we don't have a 20% case fatality rate like Contagion is, so it might be different in that case. But I don't know. I think a lot of people out there feel like I'm going to take my chances, and that's my job. That's what I'm here to do, and that's kind of the American spirit is, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead.
I also recently watched Outbreak, which feels like a very much so a 90s version of that movie, Contagion.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very different, but I don't know. I mean, it was interesting watching that. Definitely some parallels like what we're going through today and stuff. I mean, very Hollywoodized, though. I don't foresee COVID-19 ending with a helicopter chase and somebody trying to nuke a city. But you never know. Wild times we live in.
Yeah, it could happen. It could happen. Don't put it past anybody. They can get a helicopter.
The very first movie I ever saw in this was the Andromeda Strain, Michael Crichton's movie. I saw that when I was a kid, and I read the book and then I saw it as a kid, and it still sticks a lot in my head.
Oh yeah.
Will Smith did an updated one called what was the name?
I Am Legend.
Yes, that's right. I Am Legend. He did a pretty good job. I think about that movie a lot too. What sticks in my head is that scene where he's watching the news, videotapes of the news. Trying to live a normal life. I'm like, yeah, that feels like today. No. Yeah. So anyway, this week we talked a lot about sales metrics, your daily sales metrics. And I like the fact that Lisa Torres, she actually walked through an example of the things that she counts. And I was wondering if any of you would be willing to share a little bit about what are some of the sales metrics that you collect. First off, the first question is, do you collect daily sales metrics? Do you write down how many things that you did or do you not? Do you not think in that way?
I track everything.
So what are you tracking, Michael?
Although it helps you with a fairly linear sales process, so it is trackable. So our sales process basically is we call about 45 people a day to try to set 3 appointments. And then we expect about a 20% closing ratio company average. So I track how many dials I make, how many contacts I make within those dials, and then how many yeses as an appointment I set. And then I also have appointments that are on the schedule. This is all on a spreadsheet. Presentations that actually show up, and how many of those are sellable, how many of those express interest, as in they either are buying or they're thinking about buying. And then if there's a sale and how much the sale is for and whatnot. And then with that, on another page, I have ratios. So I know company averages how many dials it should take to get a yes and how many yeses per contact and whatnot, so I can compare my metrics to company metrics and know if I'm on track or off track. And I actually have it tracked in the spreadsheet back to the first day I started with the company. I've got every single call in here, give or take a couple.
So that begs
Impressive.
that is impressive. Does everybody in the company do this?
No, almost no one does, which is very frustrating for me as a manager trying to coach people. They're like, I think I had a bad day. I don't know. And I'm like, well, how many calls to make? I don't know, like 20 or 30 or 40. I'm like, awesome, because if it's 40, I coach you one way, and if it's 20, I coach you another. But yeah, I did this because I knew that if I could bring data to the coaches, I could, or I could coach myself and say, okay, my numbers tell me my problem is not having enough leads, or having a problem on the phone, or closing, and I could zero in on it. So and it was just, I don't even know what made me start doing this on day one, but it's my OCD tendency that I'm like, I must have all the data. I must know.
It's a good habit.
Yeah, it's been.
Yeah, it's great. You're a star. I mean, a lot of people just won't do the kinds of things that you're talking about. They won't track. They don't have that mindset. So coaching them for that kind of thing is really important with the sales process, not data for data's sake.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, what's your name? I'm sorry.
Michael Whitehouse.
Oh, okay. Hi, Michael. I'm Nancy.
Hello, Nancy.
I'm interested in what you're saying because I work in sales enablement and I'm a sales coach. So yeah. Anyway, I won't steal this. So yeah, it's really interesting. And do you do things by breakdown in the sales process by actual activity output?
What do you mean?
So if your activities are, okay, you're making a certain amount of calls a day, and then those calls, I guess you answered it, then it translates into X amount of getting people, and then they're tracking what happened on that call and how it advances or it doesn't advance?
Yeah. Basically, the sales process goes left to right. So dials, contacts, yeses. Then I have 2 more columns for networking yeses and other yeses, mostly drop-ins and knocking on doors and whatnot.
Right.
And then total. And then I've got appointments that are on the schedule, and then appointments that show up, and then appointments that show up and are actually with the right person. And then all the way over to column N, which is sales.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
You sort of said that, but I'm glad you stated it again. That's great.
Yeah. I also started tracking how many appointments I have on the calendar ahead of me. That way I can look. So I can look back at, I'm like, I subjectively feel like December was a bad month. I look at my numbers, and sometimes it was, and sometimes it wasn't. But it's good for confirming or more often dispelling assumptions. Because sometimes you'll say like, I wore my lucky hat all month long, and that really helped. And then you check your data, and you're like, actually, it took me 19 dials per yes instead of 14. So maybe my lucky hat wasn't as lucky as I thought it was.
Okay. Wonderful. I do cognitive behavioral coaching. So I look at that. I look at those kinds of things and then coach people through what the reality is and how they respond to that reality, right? And then manage that further.
And I found it's hugely valuable to have that reality check. Because like this morning, I was making calls and hold on a second. Yeah, I heard it. My daughter in the other room was yelling at me, someone knocked the door. But this morning I was making calls and I was getting, I'll often get no's, but sometimes I get like beat up on the phone. They're like, I don't want it. I don't want you. You're a terrible person. I hope you die. As opposed to just, I'm kind of busy. And I was getting a string of those. I'm thinking I'm really getting beat up today. I'm having a tough day. And then I looked down at my numbers and realized, that, sorry, someone was knocking at the door, handing me an envelope full of cash. That was cool.
This is the way business should work. This is totally how business should work.
It's still pretty awesome. Yeah. Hold on, I need to go into the envelope full of cash. I helped a friend who was a florist do deliveries this weekend, which was nice to get out of the house. And an envelope full of cash. I'm feeling subjectively like this is a bad day. I'm not doing good. I look down at my numbers and like, but the numbers are good. And so I kept making calls. And sure enough, after that moment, I got 2 appointments set in the next 4 dials. But sometimes you get in your head, you're like, oh man, things are going awful. I'm going to take a break now. I need to get my head right. And then you stop the activity, and your last memory is that person yelling at you, and then you just kind of downward spiral out of that. That's how your day gets blown.
Good point.
So
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Mm-hmm.
Why spreadsheets and not a CRM?
I didn't want to take the time to find the CRM. Like I didn't. The CRM I used is a tickler file made with 3x5 cards because it was quick and easy to use, and I knew that I would have constant anxiety of am I using the right CRM if I were to try to use one. And every little quirk of it, I'd be like, oh, did I make the wrong choice? I don't know. Months later, did I make the wrong choice? Or I'd spend a week asking everyone, hey, what do you think I should use? What do you think I should use? And I knew the tickler file would work. And I thought, maybe someday later I'll use the CRM. But it was, for what we do, because what we do, there's not a lot of intense follow-up. It's more
fast sales cycle to.
It should be, hopefully. Yeah, no, it's a lot of first appointment closes. It's a community publication, high-end community publication. So we're selling campaigns that cost between $250 and $1,000 a month. So it's not, a major lifetime investment. So a lot of business owners can make the decision on the spot. So I don't need to keep, detailed contact notes of every single time we talk and their kids' birthdays and dogs' names and all that kind of stuff.
But the company doesn't have a CRM that everybody's in.
No, not really. There's something in the back office we can kind of track appointments in, but it's not really a CRM. I think they just never found it profitable to go to the effort. To go to the effort to put that together.
What's the size of the sales force?
About 1,000.
Wow.
1,000 people selling?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, but they didn't. But I think what they found is everyone does it their own way. So if they created a CRM, then they'd be forever getting feedback. This is wrong with the CRM. That's wrong with the CRM. That's wrong with the CRM. And some of our most successful salespeople use a yellow pad and nothing else, and they just copy leads over. So I think they never really found the benefit in. Because we certainly have the capacity. I mean, our company, we built our own social media platform at one point, which didn't succeed, but we built it. But I think it's a matter of we know what our strengths are, community publications. We know what our strengths are not, CRMs. So, and then just the need isn't there. I mean, conceivably they could go off to Salesforce and say we want to build an integration that's built for us. We're big enough for it. But there's just not the need because you got me with my index card, you got some people with the yellow pads, and then you have people there who have a super advanced, perfectly optimized Salesforce CRM, and they're not making any sales because they spend an hour a day playing with the CRM, thinking they're working. And really, our job is pick up the phone, dial numbers, get appointments.
Very clean and very simple.
So interesting.
Yeah.
So interesting. What are other people doing?
I personally don't get bogged down or beat myself up too much on activities. We do use the CRM, we use Salesforce. And every call, email, thought, comment, and sentiment gets tracked in there. And that's really good for note taking. And we've got account management teams that need to reference that, support teams that need to reference that information too and stuff. But in terms of how do I judge my productivity? It always ties back to my quota, and it's a quarterly quota that rolls up to an annual quota. So I reverse engineer that quota. I think about how many types of deals will I need to close to get there? What are the size of those deals? Because some sales I'll have will feel transactional. They'll pop up quick and close relatively soon in a month or two, where others can take 3 to 18 months to close out. And then they'll all have different variable sizes of that. So for me, it's more about pipeline management and making sure that I would have that 20 to 30 active opportunities in that pipeline. And as that number decreases, I'm going to increase my activity and do what it takes to get new opportunities backfilled into my pipeline. Or as my pipe expands, my daily outbound activity is going to start to go down because I'm pretty busy managing those deals that are in my pipeline. So it kind of ebbs and flows for me. So it's hard to say, especially on a day-to-day basis, what my outbound activity sort of needs to look like to hit those goals.
What else? What other metrics do people collect?
Well, mine was completely different because I sold high dollar, very complex, long sales cycle solution. And so, and I had a named account set, so I couldn't go out and, just pick up the phone and dial for dollars. However, the company would absolutely mandate X number of reports, X number of phones, calls, et cetera, et cetera. So guess what? People would just put bogus data into the Salesforce, and no one ever went back, no management ever went back to check the validity of that. In fact, they would give people kudos, making stuff up. I thought, okay, and everybody knew it. Crazy.
That's a terrible system.
Yep. Now, I like doing the reports because I would take my yellow pad and in fact, they made me take a notebook because the yellow pad that they spent in the 1900s, yeah, but it worked. But anyways, I would take my chicken scratch, I would then translate it into a Word document, put it in a little folder for that customer, and then just publish it into Salesforce. So then before I reached out to the customer again, on site, email, phone call, I could go back and look at all my reports, look at when I talked to them, make sure, the right amount. And, yeah, I liked it, but I didn't have metrics per se that were valuable simply because of the nature of the beast.
You never,
Go ahead.
you didn't keep a copy. That was the only copy that you kept was in Salesforce. The original got thrown away, got recycled.
No. The original, it would be, when I say a folder, I'm sorry, electronic folder. So I would take my chicken scratch notes and then transfer that into a Word document, and I would save that Word document.
Interesting.
Yeah, you're talking about the fake metrics. We actually so the CEO of our company is also, I don't want to say motivational speaker because that kind of that name, but it is the good thing you think of when you think motivational speaker, like someone who's studied what makes you successful and whatnot. And he's talked on company conference calls about that phenomenon of the place where the salesman's lying, the sales manager knows he's lying and expects you to keep lying, and just how corrosive and bizarre that is for culture. In explaining why they don't ask for all these metrics, because they don't want you to just, the only metric they want is you made sales. And then beyond that is just what tools you can give your coach, your manager, to help you make more sales. Because if you're lying, how does that help?
That's a really good point. That goes back to my philosophy that I've seen when we've had activity metrics in place. We kind of do now. It's a very small piece of our variable comp, but underperformers will focus on that because they know they can control their activity, and even if it sucks, they can still pump out the activity, but they lose sight of that big main goal that is book at business, making the company money and making yourself money.
But what?
With our company, we find that people who do the activity generally get the results. If nothing else, you just get enough practice because you swing at the ball enough times, you eventually are like, oh, that's how I hit it. Most people who fail with just lack of activity.
It's the doing the right activity. I mean, I got me
You do the right activity. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's why the only activity we focus on is setting appointments. Yeah, researching our CRMs is not activity.
When you said motivational speaker, I was thinking about Pinocchio and the Geico commercial.
Yeah, the opposite from that one.
Wow. I love this, Pat. It's great.
Brian, that was spot on. That's the highlight of my day.
Thank you. First thing came to my mind.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah. The thing is this, right? It's, there's a saying that says you can't control the results, but you can control your pursuit. And what activities do is it's a way of measuring how much energy you're putting into, because where your energy where your focus goes, your energy goes, right? So I think that's the thing. But I also get that you can, and I think Chris had a good point, that you can also do it wrong and make it look like you're being successful, but you're not.
One of the things that I find, no matter what you're doing, is when you design the system around what it is that you need to be successful, and whatever it is, it's a pad of paper, it's a spreadsheet, it's CRM, as long as you use it on a regular basis and stay true to it, then that helps. I mean, that's the biggest thing. So whatever works for you works for you. There is no right or wrong way to do it. I just think it's a matter of just getting into the habit of doing it.
Definitely.
Habits are what make for success.
And also make sure it's not getting in the way. I've coached some people who like they use anything from Excel spreadsheet to a CRM, and on average we should be able to call 25, 30 people an hour. A lot of voicemails and whatnot. So there's certain productivities to expect. I talk to people and they're like, yeah, I can do about 12 calls an hour. And then they get frustrated because they've been at it for an hour and a half and they haven't gotten anyone, they haven't set an appointment yet. And I figure out they're spending a minute between each one of them, updating their notes and copying and moving and this and that. And the system is supposed to help them is a huge weight around their foot. And I told one at one point, take no notes for a day, just make calls. And what can you do? And she did like $50,000 in sales the next week. She's like, oh, those notes actually weren't that valuable. But it felt important. It felt important to get that work done. I got to keep track of the notes. But I found out that the boss's dog's name is Spot. I got to write that down. I need to put them over here. And when she stopped taking the notes, she started making sales because, the Excel doesn't buy anything. So you always got to make sure that your system doesn't have an overhead cost that exceeds the value it provides.
See, the thing is, though, if there isn't an easy process for management to know that what she's doing is a bad thing, because everybody's kind of doing their own thing, and it's only through word of mouth that learnings get passed, if at all. This sounds like this sounds like chaos to me.
Well, so what we propagate is the metrics that you should be able to get three yeses a day, and that takes about 45 appointments. And you should be able to make $45. You should be able to make $45 in an hour and a half. And it's basically a matter of if you find yourself out of line with those metrics, check in with a manager, check in with a coach, and ask them why. So when somebody says, wait, on the conference call they said I should be able to do 45 dials in an hour and a half, and I do 20 dials in an hour and a half, that's their cue to ask someone, hey, what's going on? But it's streamlined so that you should be able to get 3 appointments a day. And if you can get it by sitting in your room and meditating and astrally projecting yourself to people's offices, more power to you. But if you could do it by just walking down the street and knocking on on doors and never touch a phone. If that works, great, but you better get 3 a day. So give that standard. You need 3 a day somehow. For most people, that's by the phone. That should take about 15 dials per yes, somehow. And so it kind of gives that baseline, and then you can compare and figure out, okay, my Excel is taking too long, or I don't have the notes I need, or whatever. And so instead of creating a system where everyone marches in lockstep, and it works for some and not for others, it creates a more flexible system where it's, you get 3 S's any way you can. And as long as you're getting them, great. And if you're not getting them, we need to work on it and figure out how to get them. Because, one of the big splits of the company is, should you leave voicemails or not? And it's a religious discussion. Some people are like, I leave voicemails every time because people call me back. And others are like, I don't leave voicemails because it wastes time. And it'll never be settled because both are true. The ones who leave voicemails and succeed, they work. The ones who don't leave voicemails and succeed, it works. So unless they've actually proven it out and said, this is what works. For example, you can make a lot more phone calls than drop-ins. So they highly recommend you make phone calls and not try to just door knock your way to success. But other than that, they say, could be this, could be that. Find your way. And that's why we have coaches who are here to help. But instead of having the manager structure where it's, you haven't filed your GPS report. It's very light in the reporting, but very heavy in the coaching and support.
We still have to do the TPS reports. I didn't get that memo.
Yeah.
Is there any way in the organization that you all get together collectively and share these learnings like a few times a year, twice a year?
So we do a few ways. One is that it's passed upwards. So people tell their market managers, division managers, and they tell the region managers, and they tell the leadership. This constant contact. We also have daily conference calls. So every day there's someone on a call, and sometimes they're telling a story. Sometimes it's rah-rah, here's something motivating, and sometimes it's here's some technique ideas. But they actually have a pretty good system for information to travel up and down. And then once a year we have a national conference where everyone gets together, and it's kind of like a sales conference except actually fun.
Interesting. Is there anybody else burning to talk about their what their metrics are? They feel like there'd be value in sharing it, or do you want to move to the next conversation? The next question.
We can move on.
We also talked about in this week's podcast about how to get a job. Lisa, that's what a lot of what Lisa does is recruiting. So she works at both angles. They got candidates who are looking to get positions, and they've got clients who are looking to fill positions. And we talked some about what does it take to be a successful candidate and to get a new job. So I'd be interested in hearing your opinions on what you think works. Where have you been successful in getting a job, and why was that? Or maybe the opposite. Where have you not been successful, and what the mistakes that you made? And then I've got some thoughts on, because I've hired an awful lot of people. I have a lot of thoughts on this, but I'll be quiet for now. That's my question. What works?
Well, having gotten fired from my last two, I can't speak from a place of authority.
But you got hired, right? You got in the door somehow.
I did.
Why'd they hire you?
Yeah, I think I think the biggest thing, especially in today's marketplace, is you have to define what your own personal brand is and what your strengths are, and how to envision yourself in a position in a way that makes whoever is interviewing you feel comfortable that you can do the job.
What do you mean by
Most people don't understand personal branding.
That's my question. What is that?
Well, personal brand is what problem do you solve and how do you solve it differently than everybody else? You know, what unique selling proposition do you offer? You know, when I go into my customers, my USP is here's the bottom line. Every dollar you spend, you should make three. If I can't make you three, I'm not going to work with you. You know, that immediately creates a mindset.
Is that you, Brian?
Yes, it is. Hi, Nancy.
Hi. Thanks. Sorry about that.
Hey, Nancy, did you get on Brian's podcast?
She did. She did a killer job too. It was awesome.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you, you guys. Wonderful. That's great.
Yep, she'll be coming back on too.
Thank you.
Like you will be too, Pat, one of these days, hopefully.
Oh, I was just on. I think
So is Nancy.
they think over the winter. I think a lot of people struggle with this, Brian. The idea of their personal brand.
Well, they do because they've never had to do it before.
They don't do it on their.
Yeah, the job market has changed.
So how would somebody in your? So what would you recommend somebody if I wanted to have my own personal brand? What are the steps that they would? What are the steps that they would perform in order to make that happen?
Well, the first thing they have to do is take a personal assessment of what their strengths and weaknesses are. And you have to really have a good understanding of that. And you have to be able to understand how to emphasize the strengths and recognize and acknowledge the weaknesses and either find a way to fill in the gaps or find a way to, sell past those. So like, for example, my major weakness is spelling and writing. I suck at it. But I'm a content marketing expert. So how does that make sense? Well, the way it makes sense is that, I've got people who do those things for me. So I don't, even though I'm really good and I let people know up front, this is my specialty is content marketing, but I'm not the content marketing expert writer. I'm the person who does the overarching thinking, and then I can get the most out of those writers and give you the quality thing that you want. So when you're going in for a job, if it's a sales job, it's interpersonal skills is, there's so many things that you can pull into it, but if it's in sales, it's, how can you make the complicated simple? Are you, to Nancy's point, are you a good listener? I have excellent listening skills. I can really hear the depth of what people are saying and formulate, ways of being able to talk to them in a way that helps them better understand the need that I can solve. So you've got to figure out, what is it that you bring to the table that is and I don't want to go feature or benefit, but it is kind of feature benefit. Is, what is the feature that you bring that the, 50 other people who are going in for the same job may not have? Because it used to be you could just go into the paper and apply for a job. Then it went into the resumes on the desk, where there was a pile of 600 resumes. Everybody who couldn't get a job was applying for every job, and it overwhelmed the HR people. And then you had to use personal relationships to get your resume put to the top. Now, with research online, you've really got to figure out a way to get that message across. So if somebody's researching you, say on LinkedIn or anywhere else, that you have some kind of message that resonates, that makes you stand out. Could be on your resume, could be in a personal website. I mean, I recommend everybody buy their kid's name if they can in a domain name, because someday they're going to be.
I like that.
A lot of it, depending, just to add into what Brian's saying. Also, when you get to the point where you're going to either have a phone conversation or Zoom or whatever that is, even before then, the letter that you send, I think people still send letters in with their resume, and that can be a huge opportunity to tell what you're passionate about in terms of the position and really target it specifically. Depends on the level of the position, but the more complex or experienced the position, usually the more targeted you want to be in terms of targeting that particular position and what you can do, so that you don't leave much up to chance. Does that make sense?
Yep. Hey guys, this is Mike Slowick. As someone who is going through this very process again for the third time in 9 years, I can share with you what one of my sales, career coaches shared with me. He goes, "Look, pal, it's pretty straightforward. They're going to hire you for two reasons and two reasons alone. Number one, they like you the best, and number two, you're a solution to their problem. Everything you do needs to be focused on accomplishing those two facts." And and especially now in this whole virus era that we're in, it's gut wrenching. I had twice this in the last week people that had to rescind an order. Sorry, Mike, it's going to ruin your weekend. That offer, it's no valid anymore because you got a hiring freeze. So, damn. And then today, I had my third interview with AWS. Has anybody worked or interviewed at Amazon before? In case you do, you better show up at your A game. They have 14 leadership principles, and they fully expect you to come to the table with 2 detailed stories with metrics for each of those 14 principles. It's very behavioral type focused interview. I did my third interview today. The next one would be all day, 45 minutes each, interviewing with a half a dozen people. All day. Just brutal. But once you get in, you're in.
I think it's pretty easy to get a job moving boxes at Amazon, Mike.
No, this would be selling the very complex. There you go. No, Amazon Web Services. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other key thing is getting out of being one of the resumes on the desk. Because I expect probably for the audience on this call, you probably know this, but a lot of people, when they're in the job search process, like I sent out 20 resumes today, and I sent out 20 resumes yesterday, sitting there actually doing that level of volume, and not seeing anything because they're just churning into the machine, and that's where the relationships are so important, and optimizing your LinkedIn and the marketing and selling your product, which is you. That in my book, I talk about the idea of going out and meeting with people adjacent to and near the field you want to be in. Not to hit them up for a job, but ask them for advice. Because when you ask them for advice, after 30 minutes of giving you advice over a cup of coffee, now they're on your team, and now they're kind of invested in your success. And for some successful people, the easiest way to now they want you to win, and then they're like, wait a minute, the easiest way for you to win would be, I can just give you a job. You also do that. You seem pretty good. Because you sort of weasel your way into an interview by asking them for advice. It depends on the field, and if it's a nationwide search, then it's a little harder to sit down with people for a cup of coffee. But in the local business area, in my book, I suggest basically reaching out to anyone adjacent and say, hey, I'm trying to get in this field, or I'm working in this field, and I'd love to buy you a cup of coffee and get your thoughts on what you recommend. And some people say no, some people say yes, but just like sales, make 5 calls, get 1 appointment, and do that enough times, and you'll find the right person to send to the right person.
I'm a strong proponent of that process.
Yeah, sure. He's clicking apply now on Indeed 20 times a day.
Yep.
I don't think we can ever underestimate the value of relationships, either in achieving sales or getting a job. It's still so relevant, even though we've got COVID, and what we've done is change to a more digital world where we're not networking at functions and things like that. Well, I've got groups that are networking, but still, and I'm sure you do too, like on Zoom. But I think that the relationship side is so important. It makes life much easier for someone to place you if they understand more about you and what you're about. And therein lies the value proposition of your personal brand that you bring.
Absolutely, I can attest to that. I've reached out to about 175 county contacts that I have, from former colleagues and so forth. Of those 130, I don't know the exact number, but I can guarantee you at least 2/3 of them reached back. And my message was pretty straightforward. Hey, look, I got caught up in a workforce reduction. I'm looking for my next opportunity. I know the market right now is kind of crazy with the hiring freeze, but I would still welcome 20 minutes of your time just to get your ideas on where I should be focusing on and, what companies are. And by the way, if you have any good recruiters, please send them my way. And that is, people are very, very helpful.
I think now people are a bit more helpful. I'm finding out from other people that are selling, both in short cycle selling, but also in the long cycle, complex, long lead time, that people are picking up the phone. They're agreeing to meetings on either the phone or through, media, whatever social media, or I just say Zoom for everything. That's what I use. But for my projects. But I think that people are more open now. I think people are also getting the idea that empathy is a big issue. I'm seeing it come up more and more about understanding others, because we've got a lot of people that are really in tough positions. So appearing more sensitive and more humble and authentic seems to be very good for your personal brand these days.
Absolutely. And what goes around comes around. Everyone understands that very clearly, because they know darn well it could be them easily, literally tomorrow. It could be me. Yeah, I mean, the horror stories I'm getting. So if we just laid off 40% of our sales force. Oh, geez. Ooh, ouch.
So being grateful and showing that you are humble I think is a big plus these days. So I think also that's why people are more apt to communicate with us, because they're more interested in developing the relationships they need to develop. So that's my spiel. Anyway.
Yeah, we're actually finding company-wide with cold calling that we're usually talking about 15 calls to get an appointment. We're doing it, I think this is averaging about 11 and a half now.
I believe that.
And the remote appointments versus in-person appointments, that's probably part of what contributes. But I think it's also just, people are more receptive. Some business owners just like, I'll talk to anyone right now.
They're in a
I talked to a realtor today, like, I got nothing but time. Sure, yeah, we can talk. Of course, that's not the one who's going to buy, because they're not working and not bringing any money. But getting appointments is a lot easier.
Right.
Well, I know from my strategy, I've had to kind of pivot and just line myself up. I've got 4 people that have left me at the altar. And that's fine. I mean, it was kind of a kick in the gut. It took a few hours, we'll do a walk, whatever. But I know darn well, and all 4 of them personally called me back instead of the Dear John email. So I said, okay, look, I understand it ain't you, but let's stay in touch every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, so that the moment they say, hey, pull the trigger, I want to be top of the stack.
Great.
See, that's the power of not making it a no, but making it a no, not now.
Good point.
Sounds like my dating life.
Yeah, it is dating. It's dating. I had the ring and everything. We ordered the caterer, man. We had the cake, and I'm all excited. Hey, I can get back to work, and all of a sudden, dude, sorry.
No, not now.
Yeah, and it's not you, it's me. Okay, all
I hope you can get your deposit back.
Somebody can, well, somebody can figure out how to way to end this virus. All joking aside, I think we all need to get back to work. It's going to be a dimmer switch, not an on switch. I've heard, but yeah, this is getting going on too long.
Yeah, and I'm afraid that given how medicine is going, the chance of a vaccine, I hope we're going to get one in the next 2 years. I hope. But it's a long, long haul. And because things are so disorganized out there, I think it's a tough call. Very tough. I look at the media and some of the vaccine makers like Moderna, they give a big splash in the media, but when you really look at it, they're not really that much closer, right? So, and just because you get approval through the FDA for one segment doesn't mean that's going to get you to the finish line. So I think we've got a long haul on this. I think business is changing forever. And I think the ability to be resilient and adapt is so important. People that only ever did face-to-face sales, I think, are going to struggle more. I think more resilient people that can, adapt to this new way of doing things. It's not ideal, and we know that. That's for sure. But I think adaptation is key, and showing that we're flexible is part of our brand, our personal branding. It's that flexibility to be resilient and adapt.
I heard this the other day, and I think there's really something to it. I've kind of lived this life for quite a while, but for a lot of people, this has been an incredible stretch. So what they were looking at it from a very positive point of view is like, this is a huge growth opportunity for many people in the world to learn how to learn new things that they've been putting off for a long time and embracing them. This has been, I see this in my wife in the education, system. They're doing things they never would have done before because they got forced to. A lot of companies. Look at Twitter just announced that you like staying at home, working from home. Keep doing that.
Yep.
I think this is long overdue in many ways.
It's interesting. I thought it was the opposite. Seemed like it was happening. Work from home seemed to be losing its shine, and that more and more companies were starting to pull people back in. And then all of a sudden, this happens, and whoa, it goes right back. It stepped up even more so. So I think
it's going to be devastating to the real estate market because there's going to be less office space flat out.
Yes.
It's going to be tough in certain ways, but and there's skill sets. I mean, one of the things I've been focusing on, spending my time lately, is learning Asana, learning project management software. I don't know if I'll use it or not, but I'm just going through their, became an affiliate and got their training just to be able to, understand the concept because, with more virtual working, that's going to be a thing. More hands-on, more digital project management versus hands-on project management. And that's a skill set that I think, I'm going to have to learn in order to be more efficient. So, I'm exploring. So definitely, I agree with you 110%.
I think you're right, because another thing that was out in the news was companies are starting to force their folks to like load spyware kind of software on their machines, kind of similar to what virtual assistants have done, where they actually see where you're clicking and where you're going and how long you've been to the bathroom and all that kind of stuff. And the question is doesn't that violate privacy? And it looks like legally, if you're an employee, your company's allowed to do that.
Yep. Especially on their own computer. If they give you the computer, your personal computer, they can't touch it.
Oh, I think they are. They are. From the article that I read.
Just because you're allowed to do it doesn't mean that it's not going to drive your best people out of the company.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
That's a culture issue. If your company, like Best First Media, who I work for, computer or anyone. And they also have an open leave policy. Now, if you could make arrangements to get everything done and then take a week off and then come back, that's fine. And they're not gonna, as long as you're getting your work done, they're not gonna say how many days you've been in the office, which makes for a very pleasant environment because that's how grown-ups work. But if you're working for a company, it's like, well, according to our spyware on your computer, you were in the bathroom for 15 minutes. The best people have the opportunity to go anywhere they want. The mediocre people are going to be stuck there. So it's not for them.
I had this taco and it just didn't work with me, and you should have seen it. I mean, what it looked like was just like really, and then I had to go clean, I mean, Clorox everywhere. You really want to hear about that, right?
That is definitely the right answer, too.
Yeah, exactly. TMI.
You asked.
Give them a visual. Tell them what it is.
Yeah, you asked me when I was gone 15 minutes. You can't be upset when I answer.
That's a major red flag in terms of a culture and an immature manager who has a power struggle. They've got a low, typically, not psychoanalyze people, what was your childhood like? What was your relationship with your father? You can usually tell, dude, there's something going on there, which I don't want any part of that. If you can, look, here's my metric. My metric is, am I making money or not? And I don't care how I get there, but just let me do it. And then, because I'm going to work a lot harder than what your crazy metrics ask because I'm motivated personally to do a good job, to do good for my customers. At the end of the day, my boss, the one I'm married to, he wants to go, do we make any money today or not? Simple question.
Yep.
A lot of
the question of why are you hiring people you can't trust without watching over the shoulder?
But that's one of the reasons why they went to open offices. It'd make it easier for people to look over people's shoulders and see what they're working on. And everybody could hear everybody talking on the phone with private conversations, and it would like tamper that down. A lot of businesses work like this. A lot of businesses.
Not anymore. Not anymore. That company I came from, Pat, down in Texas, maybe they crammed everybody in there. They've eliminated all the cubicles. We're all going to collaborate or whatever. Right now, that is a global petri dish. And they are not going to be able to ever go back to that. Never.
Well, which is good. The studies are starting to find that it was ineffective. People do not work as well when there's a lot of noise and distractions.
No.
But that wasn't the point. The point was I can watch what you're doing. Doesn't matter what it is,
Yeah. So instead of trusting you to work at 90%, I'm going to watch you and make sure you work at 70%.
Excellent.
I think whoever said something about the maturity of management, I think that's a really important issue. People that aren't confident as managers really struggle with trusting people.
Right.
I'm just being very general, and that's a whole culture issue as well.
Yeah.
With productivity and performance as well as retention.
All right.
That was me, Mike. So what I do when I interview with my potential future boss, I always ask, tell me about your childhood. Do you trust people? No. No. Isn't that how you do it, huh? No wonder why in my interviews last about 3 minutes. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Oh, gee, right. Yes. If anybody asked me something like that in my childhood, I'd look at them and go, you just don't want to know. Because it's so complex that it would take a long time, and that's more time than we have. So forget it. Right?
Yeah. I went to a psychologist once, and I said that I had a complex, and she told me it was too simple to have a complex. So it's true.
That is great. You're definitely
Right. He's here every night.
That's right. Try the veal. Okay, here's the bad joke I heard yesterday. What did the Pink Panther say after he killed an ant? You ready? Get in. Get in. Get in. Get in. Get in.
All right. Okay, so I have a question.
I'm not that one. What's your next
I have a okay. Here's my last and final question. I have been recording this live on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay if I publish this?
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody would ever listen to this. I don't know if anybody ever click on it. My notion is next week in the show notes, I'm going to tell people if they thought about coming to a Telebabble, they could listen to one and see if it would fit for them. But I want to be honest and clear here, and I don't want to steal anybody's privacy. Are you guys okay if I publish this? I want to be transparent, and you don't even have to answer right now. You can email if you feel like you don't want this and you don't want to do it in front of anybody. You know, you can email me. You all know how to catch a hold of me. That's my question.
So, what are you looking for? Are you looking for all of us to let you know by email, or
I mean, yeah. If you're uncomfortable with this, email me and say I'm uncomfortable with this, and I will not send this out. If anybody here is uncomfortable with this, it only takes one person to say no. Don't do this. I'm cool with that. So
You've got my permission. I don't have a problem with it.
all right.
I second it.
We're not gonna do Robert's rules.
All in favor?
We're not. I'm gonna get moving. I'm going to.
Virtual board meeting tonight, so I'm just prepping myself for it.
Yeah, right. Okay, you guys, this has been fun.
I've got one last thing I want to give you before you leave, and if you haven't checked it out, Pat, there's a webinar. It's a sales pitch webinar, but it's on Medium. Have you ever played with Medium?
I have. Mediums.
Check out. I put it up on LinkedIn. Check out the link. Watch the thing. Don't buy it. But bottom line is what these guys taught was amazing. Really good stuff. So,
What is it? Sorry, I don't even know what it is.
It's like blogging though.
Medium is kind of like Reddit. It's a content aggregator, but you could take. Here's the biggest thing, and the reason I'm mentioning it to Pat is they showed in the middle of this presentation how to take your podcast and throw it up on Medium
Oh,
and have it play directly in Medium.
oh, that's awesome.
And it's called Medium.
Yeah, it's medium.com.
When I think of Medium, I think of it as a kind of a blogging, kind of an online magazine where people write blogs and you can custom build a view of what kind of information that you want, kind of like Reddit.
Yeah, but you can also just take a blog and just put the link in and automatically suck the blog in. I mean, what they showed was just amazing. And so, like I said, go check it out. It's something worth it. It's like an hour long.
This is on your link. If we went on your LinkedIn, we could find the
If you go
show.
to LinkedIn, I just posted the link to the replay.
Okay, sweet. All right. Good stuff. Guys, this has been fun.
Thanks, Pat.
We'll see you.
As always, thank you much, sir. Great job.
We'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Hey, Pat, before you go, it's Nancy.
Oh, Nancy, yes.
Are we? I don't know how your scheduler works, but you recommended something in your scheduler, and I did.
Yes, I have not. I saw it come in. I haven't looked at when it was. I'm probably am free. That's like you wanted to talk tomorrow sometime, right?
That's what I'm thinking, and I put it in because I think you are 2 hours ahead of me, right?
I absolutely am. Yep. I see. I'm in the future. I'm in your future.
That's exactly. And it's been ages, so I want to thank you for hooking me up with Brian. That's been wonderful.
That's been good. I betcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see 2:30 tomorrow, my time. Yeah, I could.
12:30 my time.
Yeah, I could probably do that. Yeah, I got something at 1 my time. I might. Is it okay if I'm in a car when we check?
Yeah, it's fine. But if you've got 1 o'clock, is that going to give us enough time?
Yeah, it's actually 1 o'clock. Is actually is actually 11 your time.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, if you're in the car, that's great.
I gotta do some driving in the afternoon
Oh, I understand.
to go see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Want to see what?
Go see Denise. Go see my wife. So
Okay. That's right. You're sheltering in place, but you guys are together, right?
we're not together. We're like we're together on weekends. So we go we go back and forth. Oh yeah, it's not that weird. It's not as weird as it sounds. It actually seems it's actually
A lot of people are having to do that.
yeah.
I said it said, my daughter is in Australia, and I'm terrible.
Yeah, you said
Awful
that.
partner as a firm. So I've been a bit, flat about that, but that's okay. We'll get there.
My sister-in-law's daughter just got married in Australia. She married she married a guy from Bangladesh actually, and they both met at the university. She got her PhD there in Australia. And
What state? Where are you?
I don't know. I'll go look it up.
Gotta find out.
She's super nice. She's a very interesting lady. She's got she does these science like shows, TV shows, and although she's a researcher, she's really good with kids, and she's been doing this kind of these, and they've been very popular. That kind of makes science simple for kids, and it's on like the real television. They were thinking about maybe immigrating to Canada. It's tough for him to get to the United States. But now I think they're thinking about just staying in Australia. They're thinking about staying. Yeah, they like it. They are real married. They got married in December. Probably. Yep. Oh, really? Mm-hmm.